what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys, today I have a list here of 5 players that are going into their sophomore season that are going to explode. They're absolutely going to have that sophomore breakout that we see a lot of players have, and so it's really important to target these guys this year. So I'm going to get right into it, right here with the very first player on my list, Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson, we already saw him have a borderline breakout last season, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to include him on this list because he's maybe already broken out, but the breakout we're going to see this year is going to be on a whole nother level, right? I mean, we're looking at a guy who runs a 4.38 40. He's tremendously talented. He's an incredible route runner. We watched him break people's ankles all season long last year, and he put up these awesome wide receiver metrics with bad quarterbacks throwing on the ball. Not okay quarterbacks, terrible quarterbacks, right? So now we insert one of the better quarterbacks in the league in Aaron Rodgers. There is no way this guy doesn't take a massive leap this season. There's tons of hype regarding Garrett Wilson. I am very confident that he should pretty much just be a first-round draft pick. If you take him at the back end of the first round as your very first pick in fantasy this season, that's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, we look at his season last year, 147 targets, which was 6th in the NFL as a rookie. Okay, 19 red zone targets, which was 9th in the NFL. So not only were they throwing him the ball a lot, but they were throwing his way in the red zone and in the end zone. So, they were looking to give him those touchdown totals that we need because we know that we need high-value touches to be good in fantasy. So he's getting those high-value touches and 1,103 receiving yards as a rookie. These are all tremendously impressive numbers with terrible quarterbacks. Now just imagine how good this guy could be with Aaron Rodgers coming into town and slinging him the rock. I know that Aaron Rodgers is a little bit older, but he's still a very good NFL quarterback. This offense is going to be elite, okay? They've got the weapons. Garrett Wilson is by far and away the wide receiver 1 on the team, and he is going to explode in his sophomore season. The talent, the draft capital, we know this dude was taken in the first round. All signs point to this dude getting a massive target share this season. If he was top 5 in the league in overall target share and top 5 as far as red zone targets, I wouldn't be surprised this dude's going to get in the end zone like crazy and score a crazy amount of fantasy points. Next player on my list is going to be Travis Etienne. Now, obviously, Travis Etienne is technically going into his 3rd season in the league. But obviously he missed his entire first season with an injury. So this is technically his 2nd season that he's going to be actually playing and on the field in the NFL. So I decided to go ahead and include him in this video. We're looking at a guy who last year had 1,125 rushing yards, which was top 8 in the NFL, despite not really starting the season as the team starter. For whatever reason, they had James Robinson taking the majority of reps to start the season. I think this is very much because of the fact that they wanted to make sure to keep Travis Etienne healthy because he was coming off a season where he was injured the entire year, so they kind of wanted to ease him into things. But the minute he got unleashed, we saw that this guy was just as good as we thought he could be. The rushing efficiency and the overall touch efficiency was insane. 5.1 yards per carry, 5.7 yards per touch. His efficiency in both of these categories was top 10 in the NFL. And you look at the target share last year. He only saw a 7.8% team target share, which was 31st in the NFL. So even though they added Calvin Ridley, yet another passing weapon, you've got to figure this target share is going to go up. This is a back that's known for his pass catching abilities. So, when you can catch passes like this and you only have a 7.8% target share, you know that that's pretty much inevitably going to go up. And even if it goes up to just a little bit over 10%, which I'm very certain it will, this is going to make a massive difference as far as his overall PPR points because he's going to get more receptions. And then if you look at his efficiency as far as yards created per touch, 3.05 yards created per touch, meaning how many yards he's creating after bouncing off that first defender. So this guy's elusive. He's powerful. He can run you over. He might not look like the biggest guy in the world, but he's very strong, runs very strong for his size, and can break tackles very well like some of the best of them in the NFL. This is a tremendously efficient back. He's very, very talented. And I think that a lot of us here would agree that Jacksonville has a very good chance to be a top 5 overall NFL offense. I love Travis Etienne this season. And if you look at last year, he had 16 breakaway runs, which was top 5 in the NFL. That means runs of 15 yards or more. So he's generating explosive runs at a very high clip. This dude's going to freaking explode. Next player on my list is going to be Drake London. Now, I wasn't aware of this until I looked this up, but Drake London was an absolute target hog last year. He had a 29.4% team target share, which was top 5 in the NFL. Now, his overall fantasy numbers were not nearly as good as they could have been, but if you look at the efficiency, 2.4 yards per route run, which is top 11 in the NFL, so his yards per route run efficiency was very good, and anybody that follows my channel knows that yards per route run efficiency is pretty much my favorite efficiency metric for wide receivers because it shows that every time they run a route, they're making something good happen for their offense. This is a very good sign. And he saw 15 red zone targets, which is an okay red zone target clip, but only scored 4 touchdowns. Inevitable positive touchdown regression is incoming for Drake London. They added Bijan Robinson to the offense. Their offensive line has a ceiling of being a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. This is going to make the offense significantly more efficient, and that means even better efficiency for the pass catchers, even more touchdown scoring upside for the pass catchers. This dude is going to get in the end zone 8 to 10 times this season, I'm fairly certain. And if he saw over a 30% team target share, I wouldn't be all that surprised. Obviously, they favored him last year over Kyle Pitts, so this is a very good sign. This is an alpha male wide receiver. He's 6'4", well built, fast. This is a guy who can produce true elite wide receiver 1 numbers, and I think he is going to be a low end wide receiver 1 this season. Next player on my list is going to be Christian Watson. Now, when you look at the athletic intangibles with Christian Watson, it's second to none, right? I mean, we've got a 6'5" receiver who runs a 4.3 640. He's basically a faster Mike Evans. And last season, he kind of looked like a mess as far as, running proper routes and, just playing the wide receiver position the way it's supposed to be played. We saw a lot of instances where Aaron Rodgers was visibly frustrated with him because, Aaron Rodgers knew he wanted to get him the ball, but Christian Watson there was kind of that learning curve in his freshman season or his first season in the NFL. And so now you got to figure going into his second season in the NFL, he should be able to shake off some of that rust. And so considering the fact that he's going to have a better skill set at the position as far as knowing how to play the position, combined with his athletic intangibles, you got to figure he's in for an awesome season. I found a new efficiency metric for wide receivers that's very exciting for me to look at, and that is quarterback rating per target. So quarterback rating per target for Christian Watson was second in the NFL this year with 123.3 quarterback rating per target, meaning when quarterbacks targeted Christian Watson, he had the second highest quarterback rating in the entire NFL as far as how efficient his quarterback was when the quarterback decided to target Christian Watson. So considering the fact that he didn't even really know what he was doing his first year in the NFL and quarterbacks were that efficient throwing him the ball, this is a very good sign. With an entire offseason to work on these things and really refine himself at the wide receiver position, I love Christian Watson this season. I think that he's going to absolutely explode. I legitimately think he has top 7 overall wide receiver upside. Look for him to blow up in this offense. Don't worry about the fact that there's a quarterback downgrade. This is one of those guys that you're going to see that he is so good that it doesn't really matter. He's kind of going to be like Tyreek Hill in the fact that it doesn't matter who's slinging the rock. This guy's going to be awesome. And I actually think that Jordan Love is going to be way better than people expected. In fact, you saw him connect with a deep ball to Christian Watson last season whenever he had to step in and play quarterback. And I think these guys are actually going to have a pretty good connection. I think Jordan Love is going to exceed expectations. I think Christian Watson is going to exceed expectations. Look for Christian Watson to explode in his sophomore season. Next and final player on my list is going to be pretty much my favorite player. My favorite player on this list, and that's Chris Olave. We've got a guy who, he gets drafted at the top of the first round, so the draft capital is there. Runs a 4.3 940. He's incredibly fast. He can line up in the slot. He can line up outside. He can dominate at all levels of the field, short, intermediate routes, deep balls. This is a guy who, in his first season in the NFL, had a 26.7% team target share, which was top 15. He had a 40.8% air yard share, which was top 3 in the NFL. So not only were they throwing him the ball a lot, they were throwing him the ball a lot downfield, so the deep targets are going to be there. He now gets a quarterback that is a significant upgrade from last season. Say what you want about Derek Carr. It's still better than the quarterback situation for Chris Olave last season. And then, he comes out and has 2.57 yards per route run, which is top 10 in the league as far as his yards per route run efficiency. I've talked about this a lot this offseason. If you post great yards per route run efficiency, you usually see a huge bump in target share next season. So there is a chance that this guy sees a 30+% team target share in this offense. And so the possibility for him to absolutely explode and be a top 5 overall wide receiver in fantasy is a distinct possibility. And, of course, it was very impressive to see him come out in his rookie season and put up over 1,000 receiving yards. Sky's the limit for Chris Olave. I think, and this is going to sound crazy and very bold and, a lot of people might not believe this, but I think he has the chance to be the wide receiver 1. The wide receiver 1 in all of fantasy. Now, obviously, that's an outside shot. It's not going to be easy to do, but I think that the possibility is there. So when you look at the overall investment that you're putting in, the fact that you can get this guy in the third or fourth round and he legitimately has the upside to potentially be the overall wide receiver one, and I think a very high likelihood of being a top 5 to 7 wide receiver, the value just it can't be ignored. This dude is an incredible value where he's going in the draft. He's going to explode in his sophomore season. All right, guys, these are my year 2 breakout players. I hope this video helped. Make sure to draft these guys. They are going to really help you win your fantasy league this year. So get these guys on your team. All right, guys, appreciate it. Catch you later.